Good afternoon. I'm CBD3 Tony Elliott. I'm a logistical advisor at Joint Basics Record in Fifth S5. Today, I'm conducting an interview of Vietnam veteran Julius Elliott Jr. He's my grandfather. He served in Vietnam during, I want to say, the Kennedy administration. And for the next 30 minutes, I'm allowing him to just talk about Vietnam going forward. So, sir, the floor is yours. Let's start off by first saying thank you for the opportunity to interview you, and thank you for your service. So, with that being said, what year were you drafted to join the military?
Well, when I joined the military was November 6th, 1961.
November 6th,
1960, I'm sorry.
1960.
1960.
It's that's awesome because I graduate this course November 6th this year, so that's amazing. So where did you join the military out of?
Out of Shelby, North Carolina.
Shelby, North Carolina.
Started basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So many of us at that time during the war that I completed my basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia.
All right.
Basic training, AIT, school, and all at Fort Benning, Georgia.
Okay. And then what was your MOS?
My MOS was 11, at that time was 11 Bravo.
Okay, 11 Bravo. So talk to me about basic training. Did basic training prepare you for what you saw or what you experienced in Vietnam?
No, not really. I mean, that was odd about that, you know, we don't talk about with other war veterans anyway, because what we learned here was only the discipline part that really worked. Now, discipline part worked, but as far as tactics and everything else, then you throw the book out the window.
So what was your first assignment, first duty assignment?
First duty assignment was the 25th Infantry Division, was C, I don't know who get that, C Company. C Company, 14th Infantry, 25th Infantry Division, Schofield Barracks, Hawaii.
So is that where you went to Vietnam from, or that's the first duty
No,
assignment?
not
Okay.
that was first duty station.
Okay.
I was on the way, you know, back then, after you did a couple hitches, then you become a professional soldier.
Okay.
And as a professional soldier, I completed my time out in Hawaii. I come back here to the world. I got out,
Okay.
but it wasn't during that time. Mostly everything around this area was farming, and you had 2 or 3 meals.
Okay.
So I got out and, you know, tested all of those and all. So I went right back in after a few months out of service.
So you had a break in service, so you got out the military and then came back in the military.
That's right.
Okay, all right. So, talk to me about Vietnam. What was your duty assignment when you went to Vietnam? Where was you stationed at when you went to Vietnam, when you got to the point?
Okay, now when got back in, was there's 3 of us right here from Shelby.
Okay.
And 2 of us went to school together, and the other one was my first cousin. When I re-enlisted, everyone taught me to re-enlist too. Because we went out to Fort Hood, Texas.
Okay.
That was Charles Jameson, he lives there on the other side of town on North Morgan Street. And my cousin, he was in long passed away, Thomas Hopper.
Okay.
And we spent time there at Fort Hood, Texas. We went to Fort Hood, Texas, second aid.
And you wasn't gonna tell me to put my windows up.
And during that time, you know, it was a lot of fields. It was just a lot of fields and everything. So we all of a sudden came down on orders. And at that time, it was no whole unit going. You could go as replacements and everything there too. You understand what I mean?
Yep.
And So I chose the 25th infantry because I knew, something about 25th Division going to NOM. So that's what I spent my first tour with, 25th Infantry Division. There went in Benoit, all that Quinyon, Playcool, Docto, Kuntum, and 3 of the major battles. And then I came back into the world, and I couldn't really make it here, I done got documented then. So I went back, that's when I could hook up with the cavalry.
Okay.
And then with the Cal, I was there with a couple of Tet offenses.
Okay.
And
So what year did you go to Vietnam?
what year?
Yeah.
That was 65.
65.
64, 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was after, I do believe, Kennedy got assassinated in 63.
Yeah.
Okay, that's in 63. So he was under Lyndon B. Johnson?
I was under Kennedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I was in it at the time Kennedy. But in other words, I was at Hood when Kennedy
Right.
got killed.
Right.
That's
Okay.
63.
Okay. Right. So, what was your impression of Vietnam when you first got boots on ground?
Was my first one?
When you first got boots on ground, what was your impression of Vietnam when you first got there?
It was, see, back then, we didn't know too much about other countries.
Right.
And what was going on and why we were fighting anyway. Even though then I was, I just got busted. I still was E4 then.
Okay.
And it was just, at that time, when we was at, it was a beautiful country.
Okay.
It was all beautiful. Until they shipped us out, like in the Central Highlands and places like that. That's where it really got to be, it's still a beautiful country then.
So, while in Vietnam,
Huh?
what was your unit's mission? What was your unit's mission in Vietnam?
A unit mission, close with the enemy by far, close in with the enemy with firepower, shock action, and mobility.
Okay. So it's fair to say that you've seen a fair share of actual combat.
Yeah.
All right. So walk me through some of those engagements if you feel comfortable. Walk me through some of the engagements. Within our patrols, convoys. Like, what was that experience like?
Well, the experience was that I won't say first experience. No, I can't go there. My first experience. Well, what got me all screwed up on that right there too. When I got the cab, this lieutenant, I never will forget this. That's the first thing that changed me all the way around, and I think that's what got me back there, along with prayers and everything with Mama and them. This lieutenant, he jumped us, and the 3 of us. I had done got me striped back then. I was E5 then, and he come out and he jumped all over us, and we had got the news down at Benoit that don't get caught on your fire base with that helmet on. You might well throw that helmet away, but you're going to run into trouble somewhere along the line. You might wind up getting court-martialed too on it, but in that case it wasn't. When we got to Uncave, this lieutenant he's all spit shine. The bar was shining and everything else. And he called us over and put us in attention like we was in basic training or something. And asked us why we didn't have no helmets on it and why we didn't recognize him as been, as an officer, because when we see him, everybody's going to talk, what's wrong with that fool, stuff like that. About an hour later, we got hit. And we found out that he was on the other side of the fire base there, and the round came in and the shot, from the shot, broke his neck, killed him right on the spot. So in other words, that's the first thing that I was saying. That now they got different ones running around trying to beat the leadership and everything else, and they just give their life for nothing. Then the first thing, another thing that too is that is it sort of stopped us there, because during the 60s and the 70s, most of our military was something like 70-30%, and then on top of that, most of it was either you were from the south or you were from the north. Now it wasn't like nothing in between and everything and that's the way we reacted to it too. And most of the guys there from northern states, we talk about it every day there, they always call us dumb and everything, from the south and everything there. But we wind up with the rank and trying to get some of the younger guys back home and stuff like that. And they always protesting, about things. A lot of protesting back then. Let me tell you, you had the Black Power and all that different thing. Plus you had the Klan in there too, and all that right there. That you had to deal with. But what I get off that, I said, what happened? I said, what at this far base there with that lieutenant. Now, after that, we all got assigned. Got assigned to our different units. 2nd and 12, 2nd and 9, and 1st and 7th. I think it was 1st and 7th. Now, I didn't go to all three of them. I'm talking about who it was. And we all got split up there. Andrew wasn't in my unit there, but Andrew and all of us there, we always, when we left to go to NUM, everybody, all the guys that left to go to NUM from that area left my house, including, I forgot Jerry there. Jerry Carter, he was the first one to go out. Me and Jerry was real close friends from knowing each other out, just because he's really from Shelby, but he moved out in the country. And he was one of the first ones to go in. And when it was during graduation, they had him to come in and talk with him. He come in with that uniform and everything on that too. So we all met at Daddy's house. Jerry Carter, Andrew Hopper, all the guys around me, Charles Jameson. Lewis was in there too, but Lewis was way behind us, so I was there when Jerry got killed and but I couldn't get to see the body or either, couldn't do anything like that.
So what was your weapon of choice in Vietnam? What was the weapon y'all carried in Vietnam?
When I first got there, it was M16.
M16.
Right. And we helped that M16 as long as we could anyway, because of what got us was that our concept had changed. So we was light infantry, you were ground pounding. Then when we went to air mobile, that's when we, I changed unit with air mobile, and that's when we got with the M16. The M16s are much lighter. You could carry much more ammunition. But that M14, it was talking about when you put that rock on a target, and even though you're nervous or whatever, and Well, yeah, the M14E dudes. M14E dudes is what would be my favorite.
Okay. Okay. Did you have a pistol in the Beretta or anything?
Yeah, yes, we had the old 45s.
Okay.
I mean, if you had a chance to say as long as you was 6 or above,
Right.
you could trade out something somewhere. You know, you could do anything. Well, even at 5, I carried 18 a lot of times. But you couldn't let the body hear about it.
Okay. All right.
Now, but you go on a search and destroy, you could have just about everything. Because the main thing that the leadership wanted is body count.
Okay.
That's the main thing. Nothing else counted no more than body count. And where you got it is left up to you.
So what was the highest rank you achieved while in combat?
Highest rank?
Yeah.
Staff sergeant.
Staff sergeant.
Yeah.
So was you a squad leader, platoon sergeant, weapon sergeant?
At that time, yeah, I was supposed to be squad leader. But hell, it's been times I was platoon sergeant. There's been times that they had to step up and be active there, even though, at the time, it's say expensive. Like I had rank, and I was in first platoon, and somebody in second platoon had the same rank I was, but he was in second platoon, but he outranked me. So I'd be up there until they got the thing straightened out when we got back to the CP or something like that.
Okay. So in today's modern army, you have CTC rotations. You go to JRTC, NTC. That gets the modern day soldiers prepared for combat. So what was it that your unit did or your leadership did prior to going to Vietnam to get y'all somewhat prepared for combat?
Maneuvers that we are always assigned to something new, like the 25th at Schofield Barracks there. Even though at that time, let me back up some of that too, but I did say about the way they did the units. It was some units that went there full force. I mean, with the tune, but you always had. Later on, you had replacements coming in. You didn't, just from. But in other words, we ran maneuvers and everything with, like out in at Schofield Barracks out at West Range, I think. West Range is I'm telling you, tropical weather and all. What do they train for now? I mean, how y'all do that?
So essentially now we go to the CTC rotation. We'll bring all our equipment out there, and then our units have a medal, mission potential catalyst, and what they want to get after, and the proof of concept of what we want to do. And so we have OCs and OPS 4s. The OCs are going to observe us, and OPS 4, they're going to challenge us. They're going to challenge our mission. They're going to challenge our training, and we're supposed to react to it. And then we do an AAR.
We do the same thing.
We do an AAR. And then we determine, hey, was it successful? Are we a T, trained, is efficient, T, or you untrained? So it's safe to say that while you're doing the time in the military, you get a lot of field rotations, on the field, a lot of field training?
Yeah, that was the point. That's what I'm saying. As I'm talking to you now, and after I got out, and during the time I in, everything was all the way around different. We wasn't trained for no Vietnam. We done took all the training and everything that was, and we was professional soldiers and everything, and they were damn good at it too. Because we were trained against Russia.
Okay.
different concepts. And different concepts, everything, even what we were trained on, did not work there in I was out in hood there, 17 months, I think it was 17 months. The only thing I got out there, second AD, the only thing we had was tanks. Because, tanks, even if I was in the armored division or either with the cavalry, with tanks. So it's all around different when, there, because we did things as we went along. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's hard to explain, but we wasn't prepared we wasn't prepared when we learned the hard way with things, but we never did lose no battles, nothing. It was like, say for instance, like Charlie or whatever. In other words, we went by manpower, firepower, shock action, and mobility. Hell, sometimes you can run in on Charlie and he outnumbered you and you take care of it. But you improvise, though. You have to improvise on just about everything. And so that's the reason I'm saying the training we took back here, a whole lot of stuff you had to throw out the window based on what I was telling you about that lieutenant. He won't be on a base camp. It don't make no difference on a base camp in a combat zone and go full and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? And you had ones that just come there and just got information from other guys that learned the hard way is don't be caught doing certain things and stuff like that. And all. Just like some of the friends and stuff like that. Well, after a certain length of time, remember I said we had 3 or 4 groups of guys. You had the guys from the north, they hung around with guys, even from the south, they used to hang around with them too. But after a certain given time, you had clan guys to come over with better friends to you than your own rest was. It's like guys from Mississippi. My best friend I ever had came out of Mississippi, and the first thing he said when he come up to the unit there was he called it, the old man called it the CP and signed him to Jones. So when he signed him to Jones, he said, I'm not gonna. Can you find me another unit because these black guys were niggas then. But the only time then if it wasn't for the old man, he'd have got butted right in the damn mouth. But he said he wasn't gonna fight for Jones. Jones picked up his ass and walked on out. And the old man not saying anything to Jones because Jones was keeping his ass for his job and keeping him account and everything. So man told us to go and think about this thing a little bit there too, and he's gonna want to talk to this guy there too. So when we come back, he got hit. He didn't get to say anything to the guy about it at that time then. So we were out after we got hit, and he was out with us, and he was gonna go for the book and all that stuff on the charge and all that stuff. That's what we done learned from the world here. We got hit over there. We know darn well if we got hit over there, but we've been in the country long enough. You got to build over there. Don't go that way because he's gonna double back. He's gonna be right back over that way he's at in the first place. It's like a rabbit. And so that guy, he went out with us. He seen what we were doing there, man. He couldn't understand what the hell we were doing. Because we were working our way out, and then we stood up, sent a couple guys down that trail there, so he wouldn't double back at the camp there. And we know where he's going to over there. So we sat over there and set an ambush on the guy there. And he figured that out. And he went back and he told the man, I think I'm with the right unit now, with the, with black guys.
So you mentioned old man. The old man is the first sergeant?
Was the old man, no, well then, our concept was old man. Was in the world here, the old man was the first sergeant. And then someplace else, like over in Germany, someplace else, the old man was the company commander. This over there, it was for age thing. I was an old man. Hell, I had 18, 19-year-old guys, but I was about 24, 23, 24 now. Then, and 24 years, about 24.
Do you remember your first sergeant commander?
My first?
Do you remember your first sergeant commander in Vietnam?
My first? No. Yes and no. Let me see. My first sergeant. Wait a minute. It's been so long since I was at that, and I know first one. First. Please release.
Okay.
Please, yeah.
So, how was your transition from Vietnam coming back to the States? How was that? Was there protests? Was there?
Oh man, it was all kinds of things. I'm talking about, the wealthy people or whatever wouldn't hardly fool with it, giving the ones here jobs and stuff, saying that, man, we lost hell. I got out. I did have a pull to get a job at Pittsburgh, but the first time, after a certain time, I thought I had it made there. First time they laid off was all GIs, well, left GIs. And that's when I left. That's when I left and went back up to Jersey. So after I left and went back up to Jersey, that was 2 years later after I got out. I got out in '70. Me and Gwen hooked up. We hooked up way before 72 when we got married. And we stayed lived together and everything, and married still.
So what is one thing about Vietnam you'll never forget?
The one thing I never forget?
Yeah.
I will never forget that play too.
Tell me about it.
And play for them, but now we participate in it, but we don't know what we call it calories or not. But right at the entrance to our far base was a line of shops and things like that, but it was a big part base that we worked television and then ammo dump and everything that around there too. We had a few first division all was on that one camp there. But in other words, they had a barber shop there and all that right there at the base there. And that's where you check the ones that comes in to work there. You had a workforce from the village there. To do all the laundry and had work for the NCOs and everything else. We got hit that night on one side of the post. I was on the other side of the post. That damn post. Didn't know what was going on. Come back that next morning, they had the bodies laid out all out through there. And they had this guy from Australia taking pictures and everything, which was against the Geneva Convention. We knew that. But we got to looking around there, same one that cut your hair and everything, there with the razor and everything. He was laying out there. And that was one of the things that go to show you. And we had to run in him at night, like we sneak out of the post there. Everybody had a certain place. Everybody had a certain place we hung out at. He would be there at them places there, and he was like a colonel or something in that not the NBA, but the Viet Cong. And that goes to show you, you wouldn't know who was who. And another thing that too is that on that same far base there, we got hit. And Mr. McGowan something, I said, well, look at what we're going to do with, if the ammunition gets low and stuff like that. So everybody was always wondering about them damn shotgun bayonets and everything there too. And, but it Mousy done cooked all the guys around with 25 automatics. Because the guys, a lot of them forgot what they told them about bayonet fighting and all that stuff like that, because when we go in, we just wear their ass out with the rounds. You wouldn't have to worry about no hand-to-hand or nothing like that with them or something like that. Well, if you did hand-to-hand, there was a quick action there too, is that the only thing you had to worry about your back or something like getting stabbed in the back, so you could outdo him on the front. And that was one of the things that I've always wondered about, running out of ammunition and what I had. So, the guys, really, this is no joke now. It sounds like some of the stuff I'm telling you sound like a joke, and it sounds like it's real, and it is real. You couldn't find a brother from down this way and everything else didn't have a damn straight razor with it. Now you took all the things like the guys from Detroit and Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, stuff like that. You had the guys, the hustlers there, you had guys get 25 automatics from here in the world there and selling to the guys there for damn fortune. But the 25 automatic, we never didn't have to use, the guys didn't have to use nothing, because we never know would that actually stop a guy, or not. And Mouser made a fortune off of it.
So, I know for myself, coming home from combat, we received Intercore awards. I got an MSN, I got a Bronze Star, I got an Arcom. Did you receive the same awards coming back from combat?
Yeah, I got the come back from the bag. President's citation. Then the unit, president unit citation. Your president unit citation. I got one for myself. That's the individual citation. And then you got the president unit citation with the units you served in. And what else I have? Everything else.
And so the final question, as we wrap up our interview, and I really appreciate your time, is do you feel that Vietnam was a war we should have fought or stayed away from?
War we should have stayed away from. That's been 50 years ago. And right today they ain't told us what we supposed to war for anyway. Huh? And then too, what bothers me is the deal is we lost a war there. We won every battle, everything else. And that's what they told us at the time then, but we lost. It's Congress and everything we lost that right there. I don't know what the deal was with them today, why that war was lost. Ain't gained nothing over there. Just overall. I think we took them down for about a million people there. And we lost 5,280. And all the damage that the French had done and everything. We slept in a lot of French graveyards there and everything. That was a beautiful country. Still, it still came up as a beautiful country where they're fighting. Bill where, say for instance, like Central Highlands and up north, it was late on in the later 60s, everything moved up north, down in the Delta, and all that get refurbished there in Central Highlands. That it just all came back within the 2 years. It was a beautiful country, but nobody know what they're fighting for because that's our motto is bring your ass home. I'm talking about fight and bring your butt home. And I'm saying that's what they tell them young guys. Stuff like that. Just get out there and you don't know what the hell they fighting for. And that answers the question there anyways there to them too anyways because in the first place you were fighting to get back home. And believe me, I had to tell them one thing, and I thought the same thing that they did too. You know, but I always told them, you know, if you're gonna try to make it back to the world, if you're gonna try to make it back to the world, just make them pay, not you. Don't give your life up for this country because you don't know what you're giving it up for. But you got to be, you got to do what this country say do, period. And yeah, I'm talking about. It was on a whole lot of things that it didn't make no sense. Now it didn't make no sense. Even you know, like I was telling you, what we taught here in the world, and throwed it back in the thing now. How in the world you're gonna take a okay, your mission was go out and take it someplace, right? You take it today, you go over there and take something else over there tomorrow, get that back to them, and go, everything went right back into the circle there. That didn't make no sense. We weren't learning anything that way. Now the regular soldiers learn things like that. Is that we took that the first time. we learned a lesson now. If you take it the first time, you better get your ass in there and be ready for a counterattack. But they wasn't prepared that way. If you got enough men, didn't have enough captains left, you would leave. I mean, you would have to be prepared for a counterattack or something. All that stuff is, I mean, the stuff you learned in the world, I'm talking about, you know, it's just like splitting your forces up and stuff like that. It depends on like old Trump said, that gut feeling and what you done went out there and done, and know what the deal is. We wouldn't well, that's the same way it is with you see, I can back up what I'm saying. Same thing happened to Russia. Russia's trying to fight Ukraine with the same way that we was trained to fight them back in the days, and they weren't asked out. I mean, you know, that's the same way it was when we were at the war. We didn't know nothing about I mean, we know a little bit about sniping. We hadn't used snipers. Didn't use that men during the Korean conflict and all that right there. Because no need for them. Man, we started sniping too, you know. We got come out better sniping than they were, and they were bringing P on us when we first got there, not knowing about how to use a sniper and stuff like that, you know. Then that's the way it was with ambushing and stuff like that. I mean, if they could set an ambush up on us, we could annihilate them with our ambushes. Well, you can start it the way he is. I'm talking about just like out rabbit hunting, you know, like Daddy always told us how to rabbit. What's rabbit hunting out there? You jump this rabbit right here. Now, the rabbit don't know only the area he lives in, which people don't know that. It's the area he lives in. Now you jumping right here now. If your dog's running over there someplace else, all you got to do is go further that way, you know, or something like that, because you're going to come right back to the same area he's in before.
Well, we really appreciate your time. This interview was very insightful, informative, and we really appreciate it. With that being said, Mr. Elliott, that concludes our interview, and we appreciate your time. And yeah.